Freeman's name's coming up with the Padres because of that Tatis injury. Guys, Fernando Tatis Jr. could miss up to 3 months after showing up to spring training with a fractured wrist. There's some rumors that it was a motorcycle accident. He had more than one. His words, not mine. How much of a damper is that on San Diego's division hopes, though, Steve?
Yeah, look, I mean, that division is going to be one of the toughest in the National League. Like, we saw a Giants team that, we continues to be like, okay, they're playing well, but it's going to drop off. Okay, it's going to drop off. Okay, it's going to drop off. Okay, it's not dropping off. They're actually going. And they end up being one of the best teams in all of baseball record-wise. Then you have the Dodgers, who are doing everything in their power to, maintain that NL West dominance. The thing with Tatis has been, in his short career, he's been back on the field rather quickly when he has like these catastrophic injuries, it feels like. Remember last year when he took that swing, crumpled to the ground, and it was like, dude, the guy just it looked like he was paralyzed or something the way he went down. He was back in a couple of weeks. Not saying that this is going to happen here again, but at least we've seen Tatis has been, a fast healer who can get back on the field, and the power hasn't been affected. That shoulder injury, basically they were saying popping out of place, yet he comes back and starts hitting bombs longer than it was before. So it's a damper, but there's still a lot of good free agents out there that can help fill that void. Chris Bryant's still in the mix. Freddie Freeman, those are guys that they can still bring in and would have a role, obviously, when Tatis comes back too as well, to make that lineup even tougher. So the Padres are still very much in the mix. They have a very, very loaded team. They're just in a really tough division.
Yeah, man. Nick, he has MVP potential, but this team has to be concerned with his durability. He's been injured in each of his first 4 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, and if he's riding motorcycles all the time, I mean, look, it's his choice, but that's going to be a thing. I feel like that was a thing years ago with maybe Jeff Kent or somebody where that got put in his contract that you couldn't write it. I could be making that up. But either way, that is definitely going to be a concern moving forward on top of the stuff that happens on the field. But Steve kind of hit on it pretty well, I think, when you're talking about that division. I mean, I'm always a believer in the Giants. I'm always going to give them a shot going into the season because I just think ever since the Bruce Bochy era, they have turned into just a quality organization that is usually going to put out a good team on the field, and you can never really count them out. And you're going to go and have this guy, even if it would be just a month, Emerson, with Fernando Tatis out, I think that could be devastating for when we're talking about them winning the division, because there's going to be at least 25 games where you're not going to have Fernando Tatis Jr. out there, one of the best players in the game right now. If you add Freddie Freeman or Chris Bryant, yes, that's going to make a huge difference, and then you're going to be fine. But I think if you're talking about betting it on DK Sportsbook, when you're talking about Padres winning the division, I might hold off a little bit on that until we see if they make a move with one of those two guys, because if they don't get one of those two, if they don't get a big free agent signing to make up for this for the short term, then I can't imagine them winning the division this year.